Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're jumping into an explainer on a really interesting place, Minhaj University Lahore. You might hear it called MUL. It's got this fascinating mix of deep historical roots and a super modern outlook. We're going to dig into how it went from an idea by a famous scholar to a major university in Pakistan today. Let's find out what makes it tick.
Okay, so let's get a quick snapshot right off the bat. First thing you'll notice, it's a big place. We're talking over 18,000 students, so it's a serious player in the private university scene. And check out that motto: discipline, innovation, excellence, charity. That tells you a whole lot about the kind of culture they're trying to build right from the get-go.
But numbers only tell you so much. So what's the actual story here? Let's peel back the curtain a bit and see what this university is really all about. So the whole thing kicks off back in 1986, and its origin story is, well, it's pretty important. It was founded by this very well-known scholar, Dr. Muhammad Tahir-ul-Qadri. But here's the interesting part. It wasn't just some standalone school. Nope. It was created as part of this bigger global organization called Minhaj-ul-Quran. And that, right there, gives it a really specific philosophical and ideological backbone from day one.
Okay, so you don't just become a respected university overnight, right? That credibility is earned. So let's take a look at the journey, the key steps that took MUL from being a brand new college to the fully recognized institution it is today.
And this timeline really spells it out. Look at this. It starts in '86, but it takes almost 20 years until 2005 to get that official green light to award degrees. That's a long road. And now, it's got what's called a W3 category recognition from Pakistan's Higher Education Commission. Now, for those you don't know, that's a pretty big deal. It's a major seal of approval in their academic world.
Okay, so that's the history. But that naturally leads us to the most important question for any university, right? The academics. Let's dive in and see what you can actually study if you go there. So what's on the menu, academically speaking? Well, the short answer is a ton. The whole university is structured around a few major areas of study.
First up, let's talk about the Science and Tech Hub. You can see right away there's a huge focus on STEM here. I mean, you've got the usual suspects, right? Engineering, computer science, IT. But they also get into more specific stuff like allied health sciences. And that tells me they're really trying to feed into what Pakistan's economy needs right now: more people in tech and in healthcare.
But it's not all about science and tech. They also focus on, well, the building blocks of society itself. We're talking economics, management, social sciences, humanities, and of course, a law school. So they're basically covering the whole spectrum, training people who are going to become managers, lawyers, and policy thinkers.
And this is where it all ties back to those origins we talked about. They have whole faculties just for languages and Islamic studies. This shows they haven't forgotten where they came from. It's a deep commitment to their cultural heritage, offering students a chance to really dive into things like Islamic philosophy and regional languages.
University life isn't just what happens in the classroom. Not even close. It's about the whole experience. So let's look at let's call it the ecosystem they've built to support everything from groundbreaking research to just, daily student life.
And wow, look at this. The thing that jumps out at me is how specialized their research centers are. It's not just one generic research and development department. They've got centers for, get this, Maritime Affairs, and another one for Islamic economics. I mean, that's pretty niche. It really signals that they want to be seen as the go-to experts in some very specific fields.
And of course, to make all that high-level work possible, you need the right setup. And it looks like they have the essential infrastructure covered. You've got your modern library, labs for hands-on work, sports facilities, even the basics like secure housing and a place to eat. It really seems like they're trying to create this complete, supportive bubble for their students to thrive in.
All right, so that's the official tour, the brochures and the website info, but what's the real story? What's it actually like to walk those halls every day? To find out, let's hear from the people who know best, the students themselves.
Okay, first up, we have Mohammed Hamza Nawaz. And I love this comment because it's so simple, but so important. He says it's a well-developed university, neat and clean environment. It might sound basic, but having a nice, clean place to study and live, that makes a huge difference. It shows they care about the little things.
Now this one is really interesting. Mohammed Imtiaz, who's a grad student, points out the weekend classes, and he calls it a great blessing for job holders. And he's absolutely right. For anyone trying to work a full-time job and get a master's degree, that kind of flexibility isn't just a nice perk, it's a total game changer.
And finally, we've got Nabia Sajid, who brings up a whole other side of university life. She's talking about being active in the Seekers Club and learning a lot there. This is a great reminder that so much of the college experience happens outside the classroom. It's in these clubs where you build skills, make friends, and really figure things out.
So, all of this, the history, the academics, the student life, it all leads to one big question. What's the point of it all? What's the grand mission, the core idea that's driving everything at Minhaj University? And here it is. This is the big idea. They see their mission as moving beyond just routine education. Instead, they're focused on human capital formation. I mean, let that sink in. They don't just want to teach you stuff. They want to turn you into a force for national development. That's not just education. That's nation building. It's a seriously ambitious vision.
So that really leaves us with something to chew on, doesn't it? When a university has a mission that big, a mission to literally build the human capital of a nation, how does that actually shape the day-to-day experience of a student? How does it change their career path, or even just how they see the world? It's a really powerful question to think about. Anyway, that's all for this explainer. Thanks for tuning in.